The biggest breaking story right now is about Gautam Adani, who, along other executives, has been indicted in New York by US federal prosecutors on charges involving fraud and bribery. In Kenya, we all know who Gautam Adani is. This is a man who has been trending in Kenya for the last 3 months. And here we are talking about the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, the Ketrako, the Shah, and the Mombasa Airport. Even before we look into that, here is the story. Gautam Adani, the chair of Indian conglomerate Adani Group and one of the world's richest people, has been indicted in New York over an alleged multi-billion-dollar fraud scheme, US prosecutors said on Wednesday. Authorities charged Adani and 2 other executives at Adani Green Energy, his nephew Sagar Adani and Vinit Jain, with agreeing between 2020 and 2024 to pay more than $250 million in bribes to Indian government officials to obtain a solar energy supply contract expected to yield $2 billion in profits. According to court records, a judge has issued arrest warrants for Gautam Adani and Sagar Adani, and prosecutors plan to hand those warrants to foreign law enforcement. So this, I can say, is a big win to Kenyans. Remember, right now we have a court case concerning these deals that the Kenya government has made with the Adani Group. We have one, the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport, whereby the Kenya government wants them to operate this airport to refurbish and operate this airport for more than 30 years. And then we have the Ketrako deal, whereby the Kenya government signed a deal with them to have them construct major electrical supply lines. And we also have the issue, it is being alleged that the government also want them to operate the Mombasa port. So this story coming out at a time like this, I can say, is the biggest win, especially to Kenyans, because Kenyans have been on the street to demand the Kenya government to cancel all deals with Adani. But nobody listens, as always, nobody cares. We have government officials. We have Davis Chirchir, who is the former energy, who has come out to defend them, saying that they are clean, they are good, and we should not we should have this deal in place. We have also the energy CS right now, that is Opiyo Wandayi, who has also defended them, and it is so unfortunate. We have Raila Odinga, who has defended Adani. Raila Odinga is a man who is going for AU top seat, and he is here defending frauds. This is so unfortunate, and I believe that this will really affect his campaigns in regards to acquiring this seat. So I've seen that Kenyans have taken to social media to ask the Kenyan government to end with immediate effect all the deals they had signed with Adani. So I'm going to read out for you what lawyer Donald Korir has written in regards to this story, asking President William Ruto to end any deal they have signed with Gautam Adani. From day one, we all warned our government that Gautam Adani is a crook. US government has issued warrants for his arrest for $250 million, that is 32 billion Kenyan shillings bribe. We have repeatedly demanded that Adani contract with JKIA, Shah, Ketrako, and Mombasa Port be cancelled. The US trial will now reveal who was given bribes in Kenya. What will all those who are defending Adani say now? How will Safaricom explain to UK and South Africa regulators how it entered into multi-billion contract with a crook without due diligence? Of course, Kenya regulators approved all the transactions without any due diligence. We hope that one day Kenya regulatory bodies will truly abide by the law established and not bend to political whims. Day of reckoning will one day catch up with our regulators. Once again, US saves Kenya from crooks. As I've said, these just come at a right time. Remember that the case is still pending on court, and this case was to be heard and determined last on November 11th, but was pushed to next week, that is on 27th of November. We all know that this is a game by the government to push these court cases to later dates so as to give them time to make everything or to seal this deal. And I've also seen that the person, that is Nelson Amenya, the whistleblower for this Adani deal, yesterday indicated that the man is in Kenya, and is alleging that he arrives in Kenya without even passing through the immigration office. It just got to show how this man, how the Kenya government is determined to seal this deal. Maybe there is something that we don't know, because having seen the people that have come out to defend this Adani deal, there must be something. So if they manage to bribe the Indian government this amount of money to secure that contract, the solar energy contract, I'm trying to imagine what they did to what they give to Kenya government to secure contracts to run the JKIA, SHA, Ketraco, and Kenya ports. Your guess is as good as mine. So I think as many people have come out to say that Kenya and corruption cannot be separated, or rather the current regime and corruption cannot be separated. It cannot be. It was all over. It is on the public space that Adani Group is not, there are frauds. There are people who engage in corrupt activities. But seeing that the CS Energy coming out to defend them, saying that they did due diligence and find nothing wrong with them, it just got to show that this is not about the due diligence as indicated by Davis Churchill, but looks like something else happened. There are claims that Adani Group funded some of these politicians during the 2022 campaigns. And could this be the reason why Kenyans are sticking to these frauds? Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense that their history and their story is out all over the world. They are known. There are some countries that wamezuia kuingia, but it cannot be that in Kenya we embrace them and we want to give them like everything, like every major institutions to run. It is so sad. We are giving them infrastructure and health to run. What next will the Kenya government give them? But I think that with this story coming out, I think this is the biggest win, and I think Kenyans are winning on this. I don't know what people like. We are really disappointed. If there is one man who keeps on disappointing us, is Raila Odinga, who is going for AU seat, one of the top seats, one of the biggest and important office in Africa, defending Adani is the saddest thing to look into. I don't know what they will tell us. The president is going to address the nation today at 2:30 at Parliament, and I don't know if he's going to touch on Adani or he will assume, because I'm seeing even online people are saying that there is nothing new he's going to tell us. He's just going to tell us the usual stories of we shall do, we shall see, we shall tell, we shall. So Kenyans are not expecting much from him, but we hope that with this story coming out hours before his address to the nation, I hope the president will touch on this matter, and we hope that what is going to tell us is to end this contract with Adani. So I think as at now we can say that the US has saved Kenya, the US has saved the JKIA, has saved the Mombasa port and all that. So it's the biggest story right now, and as time goes by, we shall know much more, especially why these Kenyans politicians are embracing Adani. With time, we shall know who take what, where, when, and how. Because as it goes, there must be more than meets the eye. So that is it for me for today. Thanks for watching, and this is Sophia Live.